Hello, physical science students, and welcome to the first day of reviewing. We have to go all the way back to Chapter 8. I couldn't believe it when I saw how far we have come since the beginning of this semester. We started in January all the way back in Chemistry, Chapter 8, and that's just incredible to me. You guys have learned so much, and hopefully you've remembered a lot of this stuff, even though you haven't seen it in about 5 months. And really, we've been out of school, so to speak, for about a month and a half now. Please check the link in the description of this video, so it's right below. And you can copy and paste that into your web browser, and it's going to pull up the link on Dropbox where you can download it if you'd like, or view it in the browser so you can study. And I'd recommend that you study this PowerPoint. And I'm going to briefly, in this video, go over some of the main points we talked about in Chapter 8, Chemistry in Action. Though it's going to be really hard to summarize an entire chapter's worth of chemistry in about 5 minutes. Your exam's going to be a little bit different than you're used to because we're all home. I'm not going to give you the same questions as all the questions on your test before. Well, why wouldn't I do that? That sounds mean. Well, the reality is you could just copy and paste it and not even really think about anything during your exam. And I want you to be thinking. I want you to think of new things and go over old material and actually relearn things instead of just memorizing A, B, C as your answer. Okay? Let's take a look at chemistry in action and some of the main points. If you really don't want to view the rest of this video, you don't have to. You can just study on your own if you'd like. But I think it'd be helpful to listen to me talk through these things. Chemical reaction has reactants and products. The reactants react to produce the products. So these would be the reactants here, the hydrogen and the oxygen. And these are the products. Now remember, the coefficient's the number out front, and the subscript is the number below each molecule. And so in this reaction, there are 2 sets of 2 hydrogen and 1 set of 2 oxygen, and it makes 2 sets of 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, or H2O. And this is how everything reacts. And the reactants must equal the products. For instance, you can't have this. Well, why? Take a look over on the reactant side. There's 2 oxygen. On the product side, there's just 1 oxygen. Well, we lost an oxygen somewhere, so we have to balance the equation. It goes all the way back this exam to balancing equations. I hope you remember how to do some of those things. There's different types of chemical reactions. Exothermic releases energy, endothermic stores energy. You have the law of thermodynamics, which says energy cannot be created or destroyed, and entropy or disorder increases in every system. Spontaneous reactions happen naturally. Those typically have a high enthalpy or disorder rate. Spontaneous reactions. It's like if you don't clean your room. It spontaneously starts to get dirty. Chemical kinetics. What makes a reaction faster? Extra energy, extra temperature, when you have more concentration of what you're dealing with, when you spread it out with surface area, or you put a catalyst nearby. A catalyst alters the rate of a chemical reaction. You have different types of chemical reactions. You have combination, decomposition, single and double displacement reactions. I have an example worksheet here where I show you some of these reactions. And I'm going to put this worksheet in the description too, because this is going to give you some great examples of balancing equations and their answers, and what type of reaction they are. So, this one's double displacement. Well, why? Because you see the Na is with the Br over here, and what's the Na with over here? With the phosphate, or PO4. And the Br was with Na, and now the Br is with hydrogen, which was once with the PO4. So you have sodium bromide and hydrogen with phosphate And now you have sodium phosphate and hydrobromic acid, or HBr. A single displacement is where there's just a one-person swap. So the Mg was by itself before, now it's with the oxygen. And whereas the Fe, the iron, was once with the oxygen, now it's by itself. So those are the types of reactions, and their balanced equations. It's going to be great if you could practice balancing some equations. I will have equations to balance on the exam. Skipping down here, past acids and bases, you have a couple of things with organic chemistry. Jacob Berzelius, the organic chemistry guy, and he talked about hydrocarbons, hydrogen and carbon. Wow, hydrocarbon, hydrogen, carbon, right? Alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes, where alkanes had just single bonds, alkenes had one or more double bonds, and alkynes had one or more triple bond. And so you can see here, this is an alkane, all single bonds. This is an alkyne, because it has a triple bond, and this is an alkene, because it has a double bond. Some hydrocarbons are arranged in a circle. These are called cyclohydrocarbons. And there are different things you can place within a hydrocarbon, like a haloalkane, where you have a halogen, like chlorine, within the hydrocarbon, or alcohol, where you have an oxygen with the rest of the hydrocarbon, an oxygen and hydrogen. You have a carboxyl group, where you have two oxygens and a hydrogen. And, sorry, I love this meme here. When a metal and a non-metal combine, ionic, right? From Star Wars there. But anyway, biochemistry, you have four main biological compounds: carbohydrates, lipids, nucleic acids, and proteins. Carbs give you energy, lipids store things, are biological fats, nucleic acids work with DNA, and protein builds your body up through various reactions, which I'm not going to go into. And you have DNA, you have RNA, you have proteins, you have genes, and you have ATP, which stands for adenosine triphosphate. It traps the energy and makes energy and leaves ADP over. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this very brief run-through, I mean, only 8 minutes long, of chemistry in action. Please study for a couple minutes a day for your exam. Have a great day. I will see you guys later.